Let's put it together for Craig Reed, Lynyrd Skynyrd Band.
The Stoned Roadie Show, podcast 304. Action. Alrighty then, fellow Stoned Roadie Nation, looky here. This is Wake and Bake episode number 173, and this is the Stoned Roadie, in my opinion, dimension number 7, and it's Monday, and it's April 28th, 2024, and I'm Craig Reed, aka the Stoned Roadie. And this is my co-host, the co-pilot, the rocket scientist, Griff Martin. So what the heck are we going to talk about there today there, Griff?
Yeah, looks like you got your salmon fishing outfit on there, or crab, snow crab, or...
I've talked about when we went up to Alaska before, and we went on that whale watching excursion, and I actually talked the guys out of the whaling ship out of this hat. It's a real one, and they had
it looks real.
Yeah, it's a real one. Leon tried to talk me out of this one, but I found one at the gift shop that I gave him because this is a real one, and I've kept it. I've had several of my biker buddies try to get this off of me, but I keep hanging on to it. So I just found this shirt couple days ago and figured I had worn this hat on my hatting episode here where I'm wearing all my different hats, so I figured I'd break this hat out with this Alaska shirt, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Do you think Leon would have wore that on stage?
Oh, God, yeah, Leon. Yeah, he did. He wore the one I gave him that I bought out of a gift shop. He wore on stage.
Yeah, it looked just like that one?
Yeah, pretty much,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been noticing old Lily is on Facebook. His son, Lily, is on Facebook quite a bit, so now might be the time for me to try to hit him up, go do an interview with him, because he looks like he's pretty spry. Whatever he's doing, he seems like he's feeling pretty good. So maybe I'll start working on that. And speaking of that, I didn't go this weekend. I was supposed to go up to the Van Zant house because I thought Craig was coming down, and then I was going to do the thing with Joe. But Craig didn't come down, and Joe wasn't quite ready yet because he's Joe's working on some video that he took of that he's trying to find, that he took of the Hell House. He took his son out there right before they tore it down, and he videotaped it. So I've never seen anybody like take a camera and walk around the Hell House and bullshit videotaping the Hell House, but apparently Joe did it, and he's trying to find the video of it. And so if he gets it, that'll be a Stone Roadie exclusive. And he also videotaped that teen center where we're going to go, Joe and I and Derek Hess, or he's supposed to go too. And we're gonna do the day the oak tree got in Gary's way, which is actually supposed to be an oak tree, but it was a telephone pole, according to Joe and Derek Hess. Ronnie couldn't write oak tree. Ronnie couldn't write telephone pole, you're in my way, so oak tree sound better. But anyway, that's the update on that. A couple other things too. Got one thing, Dave Musgrove, a friend of mine and Gene Odom and a lot of people. He's got that band Vintage Skynyrd, and it's a tribute band, a Skynyrd tribute band. His wife just passed away, and you guys say some prayers for old Dave Musgrove. Man, he's got to be going through hell. You know, he lost his wife, and you know, they were a pretty happy couple too. So our hearts go out to old Dave Musgrove. Nice guy, got a great tribute band, Vintage Skinner, and I don't know what he's doing. He's probably might be taking a little break right now, but terrible thing, terrible thing. Yeah, so that's just a couple things there. Another thing too is if you guys, I appreciate you guys liking and subscribing because I'm noticing people like there's this girl that I saw. She's got this hot dog cart, and she just started with this hot dog cart about 4 weeks ago. I think she's only got like 5 episodes, and she I saw an episode she put out, and it was 2 hours old, and she had 7,000 views, and all she does is just sells hot dogs all day. That's it. It's like amazing, isn't it, Craig? How these people, of course, they don't take her comments down, and there's unsubscribed people like they do on our channel, but if you guys would just take the time to subscribe, we'd appreciate it because it helps.
I talked to my second wife about that because she lives down there in Florida, and I thought that was amusing. And she said that she actually followed her for a while, and the girl didn't really make a lot of money because she most of her money went on she spent a lot of money. What she spent and what she make really wasn't. She didn't make a lot. From the what she had to spend to do it.
Well, I'm just wondering why all these people are watching it because
it's
not like she
didn't make a lot of money doing it. She's not making a lot of money doing it. That's what I mean.
But she's got a ton of subscribers, and
she's making money there. Then maybe we're not.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just all she does is like some guy will walk up and go, "Yeah, I'll have a sausage with peppers and mustard and sauerkraut," and that's it. That's all day. That's it. And so, but she's politically correct, and she doesn't piss off YouTube, and they don't take away her subscribers and things like that, like they do with us. Because
does she wear a bikini? I've never saw her thing.
No, she's actually got a big butt, a sister butt, big old sister butt on her. But she's a nice girl, but she got a big old butt on her. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but maybe that's why the brothers are up there getting them a hot dog. Because there's a lot of brothers pulling in there, and truck drivers. She's got a good spot. So I was thinking about, just somehow getting hold of some of these people that have a lot of subscribers and maybe, all it would take would be just a few people that have a huge following, and we just mention our name to get things kicked off. But I just don't have time to go around emailing those people. Like when I wanted to get the car done by that no nonsense garage guy, that guy's got a lot of followers, and if he did Alan's car, that would boost our subscribers. So there's all kinds of things that we could do that we just don't do, Craig. We're lazy when it comes to that, man. We're not. So maybe our subscribers can help us out, if anybody who's got some kind of a podcast with a channel, somebody that mention the Stoned Roadie show. And if we can get Craig on some of these podcasts and he mentions it, then that might boost the ratings a little bit. But it's all for the survivors. So that's why I'm mentioning it. So what's been going on, Craig? What you been up to, man?
Oh, not too much.
Yeah, you got a lot of time on your hands now. I know you got those stickers out.
Yeah.
Did you mail them all out?
Yeah. People been getting them. A lot of people have gotten them. And
I had a few people tell me they got their stickers. So that's and I think you gave them more than they were supposed to get even.
Oh yeah. I sent a few extra and done business cards, and they've been waiting a long time, so I sent them a few extras. Yeah, sell
well,
them business cards. I'd like to see how much you can get for them if you're not going to, you keep one and sell one or whatever. See how, I think it's funny people are reselling my stuff that I've sold on eBay. I saw that picture of that I sell of Alan taking a hit off of a joint in the studio, and Ronnie's going like this. That picture's selling for $175.
no
Someone,
shit.
yes, when somebody bought off of me, they're trying to sell it for 175. I don't know how much to actually get for it. I don't get that much for them.
I don't believe I've seen that picture yet.
Yeah, that's a pretty funny one.
Well, who's that guy with Gary?
Paul Abraham.
Is that Paul?
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't recognize him there.
yeah.
Yeah, he was a little chunky back in the day, huh? Because last time I saw him, he was slender, man. You know, he was at the when they did the unveiling at the monument. That's where I met him at, which
Yeah.
that was a pretty cool time. You know, I had got to meet a lot of people, and that was I think I was on my way up to see you. Actually, I stopped by and saw Kathy Terrio there in Mississippi, and then no, or New Orleans, and then I came up. I think after that and hung out with you for a little while. I think that's about the same time. But yeah, there was a lot of people at that unveiling, like Paul Abraham, and I met Mark Howard there, and of course I'd already known Gene, and but that's where I got to meet Dwayne Easley, and yeah, anybody that hasn't been to the monument, go check that out. But yeah, so are you working on the other things too, Craig? The
Oh God.
huh? Are you burned out now?
No, you know what happened? I was talking to my second wife, and she was telling me about, congratulating me for finally getting out those stickers. And she said, how many of those half a dollars do you have? And I said, I got a few of them. She goes, I'd like to have one of those. So I said, okay, I'll give you one. So I wrote her up a document. She didn't want it wrote up from the STONED Roadie show, so I wrote up a different one. And the top of it, most of it was the same. And then she said, you spelled Lynyrd Skynyrd wrong.
You did?
Yeah.
Get out
At
of
one
here.
point, I spelled Skynyrd Skynynd instead of RD. And I went, you got to be kidding. And then I went back and looked, and all those other documents that I haven't sent out yet are all wrong. So I got to go back and redo them.
No, man, leave them. Leave them that way. That makes it look like you really are stoned, you know?
You think so?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
the misprint coins and the misprint dollars and all of that stuff.
And then at the bottom, I didn't like the way I worded stuff. I did that years ago, so I was.
Just take a Sharpie, Craig, and then just put the line through it, and then put a thing there. On all
Oh yeah,
of them,
like
and then
one
just-
more for the road, from the road.
Yeah.
Do a correction.
Yeah, that was a happy accident. That's what that
Oh.
was.
I
Yeah,
guess
you
I
know.
could leave them. That'd
Like
be easier
Bob
on
Ross.
me.
Yeah, Bob Ross called that a happy accident.
Those certificate foils are like $1 a piece. So if I had to throw away 18 and then give away 18 more, that's almost $40.
Well, the story behind it's a great story, you know. You were
All right,
stoned.
well, I'll leave it then. I was
Yeah,
it's
see,
fine with me. I was gonna,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, you don't need to go. Yeah, just they'll be happy to get it, even with it misspelled. I think.
But I'm moving along. I got to go through all those and write the STONED Roadie Craig Reed on the windshield, and I've been taking my time with those. That's boring.
You got writer's cramp.
I can't do. People go, you write so good. You write like a woman. And I goes, well, you must have got a good one, because I messed up a few of them sending them out, and I goes, heck with it. I'm not gonna go through and do 200 signatures and try to make them all perfect. You get what you're
I remember when you came to the Polk Theater and you were writing on the stage door, and I got a video of that. If I can find it, I'll put it up here. But if it's a pain in the ass, I'm not going to do it. But yeah, Craig was. You could hear him playing the Skinner music out in the on the stage, and Craig was back there writing his name on the stage door. And he was. It took him about 20 minutes.
Hey, when it comes to signing my name, I'm a Leonardo da Vinci.
Yeah. Hey, did you see, Craig? You saw yeah, because you posted it where old Zach and the Six Gun band did a blindfolded free bird challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think anybody can beat that.
Man, that's Savannah. She kills me, man. People were going, she walks that bass like Leon did. And one guy said, he doesn't do it with the enthusiasm of Alan. And I said, he's freaking blindfolded.
Yeah, what's he supposed to do?
Yeah, about there jumping around. Everybody up there jumping around blindfolded. They'd have been like, what do you call them?
Ray Charles?
Been like
well,
electric football game.
well, it's probably hard enough, to just play it, period, more or less blindfolded. I mean, Alan played it so much he could do it in his sleep. Mick is good at it. And then Zach posted, and you can go to Zach's TikTok and I think see it, but I guess he wanted everybody to see that he could play it too, not just Nick Smick Gentry. So he played Free Bird and nailed it. I mean, you can't get any closer.
Yeah,
you can't. It's an iconic lick. As a matter of fact, one year they had this little at Christmas time. They had this little tiny guitar, and it was a Christmas tree ornament. And you pushed the button, and Ronnie sang, "I can't change," and then all of a sudden, here it comes. I gave one of those to Joe Crimp for Christmas, and it was just cool as hell. I wish I still had the video of it, but yeah, they selling those things there for a while, and I got one for Joe. I think I had one. I don't know what I did with it, but you might still sell them somewhere. But anything you got to talk about, Craig, or you want to jump into these comments?
No, I think we're still at $65 for this T-shirt here. I didn't know. I don't know. I didn't really go through any comments. So unless you've seen some,
you mean about the shirt? No, yeah, nobody talked about that.
And then we got this one in a medium and an extra. In case anybody hasn't seen this before, these are real nice shirts. And that's the one Alan used to wear. I got an extra large and a medium, and they're up for auction. This one's going for $65, and the medium don't have any bids on it. And then we got the Faith shirts that Gary used to wear. And both of these are black, and both of them are medium.
Are they both available?
Both available. Nobody's even bid on those yet.
Yeah, you guys bid on the shirts, man.
And those are for donations for Randall, and they were given to us by
man. It was a lady.
Mary Filing. Yeah.
Mary Filing. Yeah, see, you're not totally burned out, Craig. But if only a true Lynyrd Skynyrd fan would know what those are. You know, I mean, not your common everyday person. If you're walking around with that X-rated shirt on, there's only a few people that might come up to you and go, "Hey, Alan Collins, all right," you know. Other than that, they think you were in a porno flick or something. They're retired from it. but but you could take it, put it in a shadow box with a picture of Alan, and get Craig to sign something for you, or put one of those stickers in there. You know, you could dress something up, make it look cool. That stuff, resell it, man, on eBay, like Craig said. People getting stuff for Craig that Craig sold to them, and they're reselling it. So,
well, they're selling those business cards that I'm giving away for $125, or they're trying to, anyways.
that's not a bad amount of money for a little business card.
Yeah, that's more than I sell them for, twice as much as I sell them for.
Yeah.
And I always say they're not buying my signature; they're buying the business card, you know, which is true.
Well, I mean, you know, with your signature on there and the fact that you were, you know, connected to the original band, and you know, makes it
Well, it
valuable.
says these say the ones I send out to the Stone Roadie watchers say Craig Reed stage manager. The ones I've sold on eBay say Craig Reed production manager.
Yeah, I mean, if you showed up at a Lynyrd Skynyrd concert at the back gate and showed them that card, you're sure to get in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they'll go,
I'll say,
oh,
you know that dirty son of a bitch? Get out of here.
yeah, you were back there signing autographs. And then did you see the weird look on the guy's face when you went, "Hey, man, can I get in?" And he's like, "No, man, get out of here." He even told you to get away. That's pretty sad, you know. That's
It
pretty
was funny.
sad shit.
I
And
was
you knew that
laughing.
was going to happen before you
I
got
did. I had the camera already and everything. I knew they were not going to let
Yeah.
me in.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
that'd be something.
I wasn't probably 150 feet from the production office.
Yeah.
I don't know how far it was, but I would estimate it wasn't that far.
Well, there's some interesting comments in here, and somebody in his comments is bashing Craig, and then there's probably a person in here who's not really who they say they are, and I'll read that comment too, because we like to read even negative comments people put in there.
I
Which,
love the bashers.
yeah, you know, if there's some jackasses that want to, you know, get on here and say some derogatory stuff about me or Craig, then we'll read it. We don't care. It's on there already. Anybody can read it. We might as well comment on it and laugh along with everybody else, because we can laugh at ourselves. And but yeah, there were like 220 comments or something. I think maybe 150 Kimmies. Which, Kimmy, you're slacking, man. You know, you dropped off a little bit, but yeah, Kimmy, she says she needs therapy to control her commenting. You need commenting therapy there, Kimmy. But you comment all you want, because it might be helping us some. I don't know. It's better to say you have 250 comments and 200 of them be Kimmy than just to have 50 comments. So we'll go through these comments here, and I got like 15 of them, and everybody on their way to work on a Monday. Starting to get hot down here in Florida. How about up there, Craig?
It was 80 here yesterday, day before yesterday. Yesterday was really cold. Today was 68, 65, maybe something. I don't know. Yeah, a couple
Craig,
days
man,
ago.
I don't know, man, but I'm looking at that shirt, and I think some people are going to make some comments about. Looks like it's making your belly look big. I'm just telling you, man. See, your belly don't look as big as that. It's that buckle. It's that belt is pushing it out, and you look, and it's making you look like you got a fupa,
I got a fupa right there. See it?
a dicky do. Well, I didn't mean for you to pull your shirt up and everything.
Well,
Tuck it in. Just tuck it in, man. Because I can see that belt, and it looks like a roll, and it's the belt. You see what I'm saying? Oh, maybe it is a roll. See, we can laugh at Craig. He
I don't give a shit.
Yeah, Craig don't give a shit.
Everybody out there's got one worse than mine, so I don't.
Yeah, I mean, where's your little recorder?
Everybody out there's going, I wish I had one with a little bit of fat like that. Mine's I got handfuls. So,
well,
yeah,
they wish they needed a belt.
I'm freaking 74 years old. I was obese, so yeah, I was obese, and I'm 74 years old, and I lost 80 pounds, and I didn't do it till I was 65. So yeah, I'm gonna, it's a little hard for me to get rid of all of it.
When you start getting fat, like I noticed these guys that I worked with, they'd hired on. I had a pretty.
I'm sitting down too. Give me a break. I'm sitting down.
Well, I'm just telling you, man, that I'm just letting you know that somebody's going.
It ain't like that when I'm standing up.
But when I started working, that a lot of these guys, they wanted to work where I worked because it was easy work. You didn't really kill yourself, and they would come in there and they'd be skinny, and then they'd all of a sudden, it'd take about a year, and they'd gain like 50, 60 pounds, and they have to wear suspenders. I guess I haven't ever been so fat where a belt won't work. When the belt won't work anymore and you got to wear suspenders because your belly's pushing your pants down, then that's when you know you got a problem. So I might be getting to that point now. But yeah, it's
I ain't
all
got
right,
nobody to impress but myself, but I try to do that. I like to impress myself.
It's the shirt, Craig. It's not. It's just because other shirts you don't look like that. It's just a shirt.
I don't give a shit.
All right, let's jump into these comments here. Then last week we were talking about a little bit about Ed King and Strawberry Alarm Clock, and Winslow Red Cross mentioned that they saw the Valley of the Dolls, which they said it was a really bad movie. And for what I saw the Valley of the Dolls at the Silver Moon Drive-In in Lakeland, Florida, when it came out, and I think it was in the 60s. And the Strawberry Alarm Clock was in that movie. And I think I remember hearing Ed King talk about it somewhere that, and he actually shows Ed King, a couple clips of Ed King in there. So if anybody wants to check that out and see some Strawberry Alarm Clock, I suggest anybody Google Strawberry Alarm Clock and just listen. Just listen to the songs, and you can hear that Ed King guitar in there, which is pretty prominent sounding, I think. It's kind of weird because it's like Strawberry Alarm Clock meets Lynyrd Skynyrd. It's kind of weird if you think about it, if you listen real hard. So check it out. Kimmy says that Greg Allman has an audio book that's interesting. Ron Eckerman has the audio book, and a lot of people like that. Well, I didn't know that Greg Allman had an audio book. Did you, Craig?
Greg is narrating his own book.
I guess.
Wow, that would be.
This is Kimmy now. This isn't me. This is Kimmy.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, I would definitely. If I ever get crippled again, then I would probably listen to all the audio books that I could probably find. But I'm just too busy now to be. If you go on a drive, an audio book is a really nice thing to keep you awake. You know, if you're getting nodding off and listen to an audio book, and for somebody like Craig who don't like to read a book, you know, or
I
somebody
can't
that,
even see to read a book anymore.
yeah, you got some glaucoma going on.
Yeah,
I
I
get
do.
headaches really easy, so I don't do a lot of reading, and that's why when you guys put these 15,000 word essays in these comments, I'm not going to read them, man. I'm not going to do it. So keep them short. And there's one guy in here, he's kind of spouting off and talking some trash. I'll get to him. But yeah, when you leave the comments, try to keep them as short as you can. Well, Kent Griffith, he puts like some huge things in there, but they're of interest because you know a lot of that stuff. He was around those original band members, and he's got some good stories. And he actually has one in the comments that he talks about. And when I get to that, we'll talk about that too. Um, yeah. So those audio books are pretty cool. Let me see. Elvin Parker says Gene said that Lacey Van Zant, and I've heard Gene talk about this, I think, had a child out of wedlock. And Craig, what do you know about that? Well, I thought it was sister that had.
I don't know anything.
I swear to
about
God,
that.
I thought maybe both of them, but I think they both even had a child out of wedlock, which I found was very strange when I heard that. But according to Gene,
Don't know nothing about that.
yeah, yes, yeah. So if anybody knows anything about that, maybe maybe Kent Griffith knows something about that. Yeah, let us know. I'll talk to Gene again pretty soon, and I'll ask him. You know, a lot of these things I forget when people tell me things like Joe Crimp tells me. When you talk to Joe, it's information overload. I mean, you can't. He's got a photographic memory, and he has got all of these cool stories. I have to say, out of everybody I've met, out of all the people that were associated with Lynyrd Skynyrd, Joe Crimp has got a mind like a steel trap when it comes to people, dates, things that happened, and just if you want to know something and you don't know anybody that could tell you something about, I guarantee you Joe Crimp could. I mean, that guy, he's just loaded with information and just as sharp as a tack. And he's such a nice guy. So if anybody is friends with him on Facebook or whatever, you'll notice people will be commenting about some Lynyrd Skynyrd stuff. He won't say a word. He'll just sit there and he might talk to me and go, "Did you see what that guy said? You know, such bullshit." You know, and I go, I know, Joe, because he's definitely a guy that knows what he's talking about. And he was there, man. You know, with the whole thing, shared Hell House. He was there when Gary hit the damn telephone pole. So, and I can't wait to see what he comes up with those videos. And he's going to make a recording for me, and then we'll put it on here. So we look forward to that. So yeah, I don't know the full story on that out of wedlock thing, but there is something to that. Brian Madison says, "Thanks, Craig, for getting the stickers out." Um, did you do all of them, Craig? You sent them all out?
I did, but yeah, I did. But Jack West sent me a check for one for the
Oh, you got a new order coming in.
yeah, for the stickers.
So people can still get the stickers?
Yeah, I still got a lot of stickers. They're $25 a piece. And Jack West sent $25 for the sticker, and that goes to the general fund of the Forgotten Survivors. So thank you, Jeff, for supporting the
Yeah, thank you, Jack.
Forgotten Survivors. And Jack was also a winner of the giveaway. Yeah.
We'll call them, you know how we call them the forgotten survivors? Well, we'll call them the forgotten winners. So thanks for donating to the forgotten survivors, especially if you're a forgotten winner, because that's, that's something Craig's working on. And when you get it, man, you're going to be so happy. It's almost like you didn't get anything for Christmas, and then one day you got your Christmas present, but it was just late. So.
Well, if you're a fan of Lynyrd Skynyrd, or a fan of me, God, there's all kind of stuff of me in there. There's me on heroin, and there's me leaning on my Mercedes.
You mean in the packages of stuff that people are getting? Yeah, Craig's got a bunch of, and that was courtesy of
Dave the Disciple.
Dave the Disciple,
Yeah.
which we haven't
He wrote
heard
me
much
the
from
other
Dave.
day. He said, I'm looking forward to getting my big package.
Yeah, we hope he's doing all right,
Yeah.
We hope he's doing good. Man, he helped us out a lot. He really did. Craig says that I'm freezing up and it's showing that I'm having unstable internet, so we may have to pause, but you guys will never see it because I'll edit it all out. But anyway, yeah, it's kind of a pain in the ass when my internet does that. Moving right along in the comments, Alan Rosemeyer. Craig, did Skynyrd name all their tours? Who decided the tour names? Like, I guess.
Yeah, I know what he means. No,
Survivors.
there was the Torture Tour, and then there was the Street Survivor Tour, and then there was
Yeah, who named those?
91, and there were, well, it's normally just the summer tour, the winter tour, the fall tour, the world tour. The Skynyrd only had, Street Survivors, the Torture Tour.
Who came up with those names?
Last Rebel, I don't know. Wasn't me.
Yeah, you think Ronnie had something to do with it, or?
Well, the first Skynyrd, the Torture Tour, I think that tour was named after we got into it.
Yeah.
The Torture Tour. Yeah, that was named about 2 weeks after we got
What was so torturous about it?
It was 88 shows in 95 days.
And how did that go? How did the band handle that?
Ronnie had some issues with his throat. That was the first time he started having issues from his throat, from what I recall. But yeah, God, that was back when we had rock and roll audio, from what I remember.
Must not have been any cancellations, because they wouldn't have been able to make that amount of shows within that length of time.
Yeah.
You probably guys didn't have any cancellations that year.
Yeah, that was a rough one. I think
that's kind of like.
I think that's when he first started having throat problems after that tour. I think wasn't that one? That was one. The last one, wasn't that the last one where it ended up in Jacksonville and
with the cocaine,
and his throat was burnt out. I think that was the one. That was the one. The last show of the tour was in Jacksonville, and his throat was burnt out, and he couldn't do it, and he passed out on stage, and we couldn't finish the show, and the crowd went crazy and threw bottles, and everything was destroyed. I mean, it was
passed out.
Huh?
All of a sudden, he just passed out.
He couldn't sing. His throat gave out.
He fell on the stage floor and passed out.
I think that's the place where he fell right on stage, and we all went to pick him up, and I was I was under his front arm, and I was standing on his hair when we picked him up. I think one time that happened. It must have been then, yeah.
Yeah. So was it because he was drunk, Craig, that he
No, no, no.
just tired?
His throat was burned out. I don't. We were exhausted. We
Yeah.
were flat out exhausted. Yeah.
Damn. All
That
right,
was
well,
when
let's move along because I got this bad internet connection. Craig says it's getting worse. Here's that one where this is somebody who says that they're somebody, and I don't think they are because I've never heard of them before. Tanya says, "Hi, boys. My girlfriends and I been watching the Stoned Roadie show, and we're actually not fat. We are hot and we put out regularly." Okay, now who the hell's going to say that, right? What woman is going to say that? We have a question for Mr. Reed. Isn't it true you were no more than a drug dealer who let the band have good deals on your drugs just so you could hang around them?
God, you're so smart. How'd you know that? God. You're about the only person left in the whole world that knows that. Everybody else is dead. God, it's a good thing that some people like you still exist.
Yeah, because everybody
I
knows
thought I
that.
had everybody fooled. Damn.
Well, I
Oh
tell you
well, I've
what.
been busted. Now I'm a what am I? Now I'm a drug dealer. Or now I'm a slacking. I'm not a slacking drug dealer. I was good at that, wasn't I?
Well, they put you to
Definitely.
work. They made you
Yeah,
work, even though you were a drug dealer. You did.
yeah,
You were on the torture tour because you were providing all the
yeah.
drugs.
Driving that truck. Yeah,
I would say a lot of
I was
it's
a hell of
true.
a drug dealer driving that goddamn truck. Whoa, boy.
It's not really a lie. It's probably is true in a lot of ways. Yeah, I'll have to say that I've heard that from a lot of people, but I happen to know for a
It
fact that,
wasn't just drugs. I appropriated a lot of things.
yeah, like they sent him out to get the women and bring them backstage.
Oh, I did all kind of stuff.
Yeah, so that's
If I
crazy.
got caught doing shit I did for them, I'd still be in prison. I'd be
But
under.
yeah, Tanya, whoever you say you are, you Tanya, I don't know if you're
Yeah,
real. If you're real, then yeah, there you have it, Craig. He
yeah.
admits to some of that, but
You're exactly
but
true.
I will tell you this: that anything that Craig ever did, he more than paid for on that plane when it crashed. So if anybody thinks
Go.
Craig is something that was a bad influence on Lynyrd Skynyrd or whatever, well, when he went through the plane crash, I think he paid his dues.
Well,
So,
go listen to the perfect description of Craig Reed, Ron Eckerman's description of me. The
yeah,
perfect description of Craig Reed on YouTube, and
on the audio book.
on the audio book, it said
Yeah,
Craig took care of most people that work for a band work for like one person, and Craig kind of worked for everybody. And
that's right.
he was a key person, and most of
And
the
he
times he was really stoned.
and he could perform his task very, very
Yeah, and
well,
don't let that
even.
stoner appearance fool you. He was very professional at what he did.
Yeah, I've heard that before. Go listen to the
Yeah,
Ron
but you
Eckerman
go
audio.
listen to it yourself.
Yeah. But there's some haters out there, and they're just trying to jump in on the comments here.
But
So
yeah, I did that too.
yeah, he admits it. He damn sure found them drugs.
Yeah, I did a
Yeah.
lot of them too. So there.
He must have had some good shit when he saw Ed King there in Atlanta, and maybe he snorted a line with him, and then Ed went to Ronnie and goes, Ronnie, try some of this shit. Would that Yankee get it?
I didn't
Yes.
take no drugs with me when I went down to Atlanta. I didn't even take no drugs down there with me. I had to get on an airplane.
Yeah.
I don't remember
Okay.
how I got down there. I
I
think
believe it. I believe you, Craig. I believe you.
I had some black beauties because when me and Joe drove the truck from Jacksonville to Los Angeles, I had some black beauties I was eating. I do remember that.
But all those do is just keep your ass awake.
Yeah.
And then you got to take a Quaalude to go to
I
sleep.
didn't have any Quaaludes. I had some Black Beauties, though.
But that's when I don't think they
Might
have
have had
Black
some White
Beauties anymore.
Crosses, too. I don't know. I had all that kind of shit.
Mm. All right, moving right along before I get screwed up on my internet connection again. It says, let's see here. Ask. Oh, this is a reply to Tanya, and it's Shellman Brandon, and this guy he keeps wanting me to read this long ass paragraph about Ronnie Caruso, which it says, ask Craig to read the St. Augustine Recorder article about his friend, Ronnie Caruso. I noticed Griff nor Craig will read what I posted. It's because it's too damn long, and also it talks about how guilty Ronnie Caruso is in the eyes of the law. Craig says he got railroaded, you know. Why would I want to read something that we already know? That, you know, the guy was supposedly beaten up on his wife and ended up killing her. And, you know, it's the same thing. Why do I want to read that? You know, I don't have time for it, nor, you know, do we care about that? Craig's saying he don't think he's guilty, and that's just how he feels about it. And we don't really need anybody on here trying to, you know, act like, you know, Craig's friend's guilty when Craig's trying to help him. So why would you even ask that? You know, you're just kind of being a jackass, in my opinion.
Ronnie's
But
been my friend since 1974, and he's been with Tracy the whole time I've known him. So I've been friends with Tracy. Their child Ben is my godson. I stayed with them when I didn't have a place to go in Jacksonville, traveling back and forth from here to in Ohio. I lived with Ronnie and Tracy. I lived with those guys, man. I know what they were like. Ronnie never touched Tracy, you know, and Tracy was hard to deal with. She did a lot of drugs and stuff, and she asked Ronnie the night she died. She was taking pain pills, and she asked Ronnie to go get her a bottle of whiskey. And Ronnie hadn't been drinking because he's got a bad heart. So he did it, and she got all drunk. And he had a heart attack that night. And 911 was called, and he told Tracy not to call 911, and she did anyways.
yeah, and he says, you know, the police officers have a different account than what Craig. Well,
Well,
yeah, of
yeah.
course, they're the
Well,
police. I tell you what,
I
man.
knew them for 30 years, and he never touched her. So what, you know, that's bullshit.
There's just reel after reel after reel of things on YouTube of people wrongly convicted of shit. And if you want to see some real time stuff, these Florida Fish and Wildlife guys going around and arresting people for being drunk. They had one beer, and they're if there's any beer on the boat and they pull you over, and if there's any beer on the boat and you're driving, you're going to jail. It doesn't matter, you know, if you've been drinking or not. You're going to jail.
Open container, yeah.
No, I think you're allowed to have beer on the boat, but they still arrest you. And just go watch it. Just go watch those.
Oh, if you're
YouTube.
driving, you can't drink. I don't know.
Yeah, and then there's this one lawyer, and he's got a beard and he smokes a cigar, and all he does is show all of these bad cops arresting people for stuff and then railroading them. So yeah, you know, it's alive and well. I mean, I wasn't there with Ronnie, but Craig says he didn't do it. So, you know, Craig's got a right to his own opinion, and we don't necessarily need somebody on here disputing what Craig says about his friend. So, you know, you keep your opinion to yourself.
But I'm trying to get. I got two different email addresses for either the governor or the guy in Florida that gives clemency. So I'm gonna have that available.
Yeah,
in the
anything you
next couple
see in
weeks.
the news is going to be crucifying the guy. Anything that you read is going to be crucifying the guy.
Well,
So
like I said before, Ronnie's got some money, and my godson Aaron got in a bunch of trouble, and Ronnie, because he has money, got him out of it. And I think the judge had an ass at Ronnie, and just threw the book at him. And
yeah,
Ronnie
probably.
thought he was supposed to go for a plea deal for 5 years, and the judge threw the book at him, gave him 15 years. He's already done 5 years, man. He's in bad health, man. You don't need to die in there. He was good friends with all the Skynyrd guys. Got them all their boats and stuff. He was best friends with Dean, and he's been my friend since 1974.
Well, Shelman Brandon thinks he's guilty.
Well,
And moving right along, Autumn Honecker. Craig, did the Honkettes, were they ever wild and crazy with the boys, or did they mostly try to keep them out of trouble?
no, the girls didn't really hang around with the
Maybe
guys.
JoJo. JoJo was a little crazy, wasn't she?
JoJo did, yeah. Cassidy and Leslie were, more reserved. They just kind of,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, they didn't go like drinking and you never see them drunk or
no,
anything like
they
that.
go out shopping together and stuff. Yeah, they didn't
Yeah.
go. You didn't see them in the bars or.
They didn't really probably realize how famous Lynyrd Skynyrd was going to be for, ever. At the time they were riding high, but they didn't realize the legacy that Lynyrd Skynyrd was going to leave. I'm sure.
Well,
I'm sure.
God, who? It blows my mind that these guys are this popular 50 years after the plane crash. It's just.
Yeah, just
It's unbelievable. I mean, Ronnie's this left a legacy of one of the greatest songwriters ever. And it's
and yeah,
the
it's
whole thing's just amazing. It's they definitely left a legacy. And like I said, man, God, their stuff on eBay is some of the most valuable. I mean, like I said, that out at Pawn Stars, they're selling a set list that I sold, and they're copying it, and they're saying it's a copy of the one that was on the plane crash, and they got it in a frame, and they're selling it along with a copy of the Lakeland poster from the Lakeland show, the last Lakeland show, for $600, and it's a copy of my set list. That's crazy.
yeah, and Paul
like I said,
Connolly.
that picture that I took of Alan and Ronnie is selling for $175. Well, they won $175. And my business card that I'm giving away sells for $125. Well, they're asking $125. I've never gotten that much out of them.
Well, Paul Connolly, who's a collector, he collects all kinds of stuff. He says that Lynyrd Skynyrd stuff is hot. I mean, it's just, and he just continually collects it. Sammy Joe says that she was looking at that video footage where Artimus is running around out in the crowd, and Ronnie says, "Yeah, we keep him caged up and feed him raw meat." And he just jumped right back up on the stage like it was nothing. Yeah, remember we were talking about that, Craig, how great a shape Artie was in? And we're going to have to go ahead and end this podcast because I'm having a really bad internet instability thing going on here. So we're going to go ahead and put out with the comments that we just read, and then I'll get my cable fixed. I got a crappy cable connection, crappy cable company. So we're just going to go ahead and close it out now, Craig, and I'm going to be up a little while trying to edit all this mess out of here. So looks like happy trails until we meet again, and see you later, alligator.
After Wild Crocodile, and we'll call that a wrap, and we're out of here. Cut.